What?
I'm ready. We're going to intro this thing?
Yeah.
We're going to start the fucking show?
It already was started. Now we're ending.
We're here with the Asian Justin Timberlake.
Wow.
Quadruple fucking threat.
Quintuple.
You can rap.
If you guys can see the setup here,
Sing.
as fuck.
You can rap. I didn't say we're Justin Timberlake.
You're just starting out. We're on the come up.
You're Justin
We're going to say
Timberlake,
that every
bro.
single podcast. We're on the come up. 3 years later, we're on the
Just
come up, guys.
on a fucking iPhone.
Dude, you're gonna be here. You're gonna be here in 3 months with a golden fucking microphone with hands on it and shit, like a Prince microphone.
Oh, Prince.
He's got a
That's
good microphone,
reference.
doesn't he?
That's a R.I.P. bro. Rest in power. Whenever you reference Prince, you got to say that.
Rest
He
in
was a
power?
legend.
You gotta take a picture of this.
Guy
This
was
is
a
like
legend.
beginning shit, dude.
Yeah, bro. That's the hustle. You respect the hustle.
I know. This is like 6 years ago when I first started YouTube.
This is like 10 years ago. This is the start of the start of the start.
Yeah.
But hold on. You said.
So he could rap.
Yeah.
He
Rap.
can sing.
Sing.
We might make you do all three of those. So you better get the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. You better get ready, bro.
Is dancing a possibility?
I've never seen him dance, but I bet he
Comedy.
can.
Absolutely cannot dance.
But you can cook.
Yeah.
Of course I could.
He can cook. He can act. And then he do like stand-up comedy and shit back in the day.
What you call it? Jack of all shits. I'm mediocre and like a lot of different things.
That's good though.
Jack of all trades and master of none. That's fine.
You throw it against the wall, see what sticks.
Yep.
We just keep trying until someone tells us to stop. That's basically our philosophy. On
What was the
everything.
start, bro? What was the first? I mean, you grew up here in Sacramento with me.
Yeah.
Not with me, but same city.
He's like, bitch, I didn't know.
No,
you.
we didn't know each
You
other.
went to a very nice school.
Yeah, we did.
I could see the preppiness
Yeah.
in every step that he did.
We did.
When you made that post on Instagram where you had the like Adidas like knockoff with 4 stripes,
Yeah.
I could relate to that. That's what I was relating to. Yeah.
He went to a very, very affluent
No.
school.
No.
I went there for free, but yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It was a
I
fancy
used to
school.
think that his school had like wizards and shit in it.
That's right.
No, it was like where Harry Potter went to and shit, like probably.
Was it Waldorf or
No,
Yeah,
is it
Waldorf.
Waldorf?
Yeah.
That Waldorf hotel in like New York's like a super
Unrelated.
fancy. I know, but the
Unrelated.
name just sounds fancy.
It's a good salad.
Yeah, I used to like clown on people at school only because I was jealous.
Yeah.
No,
You
it-
know,
it-
it made me feel better about
There's
myself.
there's a Waldorf down in your hood too.
Oh, really?
Like by Freeport or not? Yeah, by Freeport.
Has been there?
Yeah. It's so small though. Like that one's even smaller.
Yeah, I
than
didn't even
ours.
know about that.
Yeah. It's like the airport's right there.
Yeah.
And then it's literally behind like a Chinese restaurant.
makes
It's like
sense.
tucked behind. Yeah.
So this is where the special kids go to school.
Yeah.
Is that, or if you just have money, that's
That
basically.
I don't know.
Chinese restaurant
I don't
by the
know.
way, is open really, really late, so we used to go eat there a lot.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. Jada Pinkett Smith went there. Tupac went there. Jennifer
Tupac
Aniston.
went there?
Yeah, they went to like
He's from Sacramento?
No.
Oh.
Waldorf's international. It's
Oh,
from Germany.
okay.
Yeah.
They went to one in like Brooklyn.
Okay. Anyways, from the real
And-
beginnings right
and
here,
me.
relating back to the
Yeah, what-
Adidas four stripe.
Yeah. What was the start?
I feel that.
Acting or singing, rapping?
I started with stand-up comedy, but then like I tried to do music after, like
Yeah.
you know, actually not even after that shit, like simultaneously together, just because like you know, music gets you pussy.
Bro,
But comedy
you think,
doesn't.
you think I didn't notice that with you and your cooking? Like, I see every endeavor you went in, it's all about the booty. Like, everyone wants someone that could cook, sing, like,
Cooking.
I see it. Be funny. I know it. I understand.
I feel like cooking probably brings you the most because you don't have to be like
Cooking?
Yeah.
Singing?
No.
In what- in your-
Let me give my
okay.
argument. So like
Give
cooking,
your pitch.
you don't have to be America's top chef to get a girl like, hey, let me cook you a nice dinner.
Yeah.
You could just be a dude. Hey, let me cook you a nice dinner. If you cook her a dope dinner, she's in. But if you're like, oh yeah, I'm a singer, she's gonna laugh at your ass unless you have like a record or iTunes or
You
something.
know, like the
No.
Yeah, wait, dude. If a girl comes over, I'm like, hey, baby, 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 baby.
But that's
baby.
you. If you can sing, I'm just putting it this way. I've seen so many famous, like, let's say, Instagram or like whatever, just people hanging out with
Yeah.
like SoundCloud, like singers, artists, all that stuff. I don't think you have to make it. Go on, David.
Yeah, I mean even now too, like it's just like God, people who. God, dude, it's-
Rant, bro. Just
Yeah, hit
let
it.
it out. I know.
Tell them the truth.
You feel something deep
You know,
in your soul.
it's
You
kinda-
want to say.
I think kids are. It's a lot easier to impress people now because
Yeah.
everybody's impressed by anything nowadays.
Yeah.
Like I've heard some like terrible singers, and these girls like, yo, this guy's really good. I'm like, damn, your pussy lips are loose. Like you are
Yeah.
that easily impressed.
It is
and
bad.
like literally that night, like I'll go to these shows, and there's like these kids who, you know, mind you, like I'm not knocking on these kids for like, you know, trying to do what.
No,
they
you're
wanna
knocking
do,
on 'em.
like,
Keep going.
But you're saying there's
Yo, but
there
let me-
needs to
let
be a
me-
certain
let me-
level of talent.
Let me just tell you this quick story. So I was out in what's it called, Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
One of the most talentless cities on earth.
What about the wings? What about the wings?
Oh, the wings in Buffalo.
I've
are
heard it's real.
fucking
Yeah.
delicious.
I heard
You have
it's
to make
real.
up for something.
No matter where you go,
Yeah.
Buffalo wings in Buffalo, New York
Are amazing.
The shit.
I heard it's real.
And I saw Niagara Falls too, which was very lackluster.
Yeah.
Some
I went
water.
one time and
Yeah,
I
I
was
went there like,
underwhelmed.
look, and I'm like, that's cool. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Where are the wings?
I had the worst story happen in Niagara Falls. Go on.
Yeah, so there was, so I had to judge a talent show, right? Mind you, like I love watching talent shows. Like it's pretty cool watching like people trying to like go out there and try new things. There was this one cat who I thought was like the shit. This fool did this like bit where he was like singing Lady Gaga in like this Chinese accent. I was in tears. I was like busting up, grabbing everybody, laughing my ass off. And they came for the scorecards. I gave this fool like a perfect 10, and everybody looks at me and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Dude, that guy was a fucking hilarious ass dude, right?" It's like, dude, he was serious.
Oh no!
So during his
he just had an accent.
During his whole set, I was, I was like, bro, I was grabbing at everybody, cracking the fuck up, and I had no idea that he was serious. So I was literally laughing at this
the guy's face.
Poor guy. We gave him a 10.
No, but you gave him a 10.
But check this out though. So afterwards, he comes up to me and goes, "Hey, David, so like, maybe we should collaborate together. Maybe work on a song." I was like, "You fucking delusional fuck." You know what I mean? And then these girls they were hyping him up to me. She was like, "Yo, this guy's really good." So I was like, "Dude, that."
And they meant it seriously.
Seriously, and so like their level of what they think talent is a little off. And even then, that night, I saw that fool go walk away with the girl. I was like, God damn,
like,
dude.
what am I doing wrong? I was gonna say just quickly. I think what it is because everything's so ubiquitous, like everyone's putting out content. It makes everyone think that they can do it, and that's not a bad thing.
But you can't do it.
But
not everybody can do it
because so many people are doing it. The quality has actually degraded over time. It's much like YouTube or anything else. So that if you're, let's say, the shit is the standard. If you're like pretty shit, but not like pure shit, you're like, oh, that's not bad. So the standard has dropped, I think, over time.
Also, technology.
Auto-tune, people can't sing.
I was gonna say, well, you
look
just
at
get
performers back in the day.
You get a fucking Mac Pro in 2006, and you think you're Pharrell on fucking GarageBand. Like everyone's making a beat in the garage. Like
I made a beat, bro.
Yeah,
like sick.
No,
there's a lot of like YouTubers too. Like I see them, they want to try music, and these kids too. They have such high levels of fandom. They're like, you're an amazing musician.
You're the best.
And I listen to the music. I'm like, holy shit, that's terrible. But to them, they don't give a fuck. And these like young cats that are on YouTube, they fucking eat their own shit so much. They're like, like I wasn't really the humble bragging type.
I
wasn't really trying, or like my throat was sore when I
it's
recorded
like,
this.
like you're fucking autotune like a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, be real with yourself. You know what I mean? But even then, like they're so delusional, they don't even see it themselves.
Well, if you don't know music at all, like there's a difference between even judging a talent show from your perspective and probably someone who's next to you that just listens to Gaga or something on the radio. You don't know what real music, or you don't know anything.
Discern.
Yeah,
people say like music is subjective as well.
It is.
There are standards that you can judge. Like,
there are
someone hitting a note.
There's basic standards, but then there's also things that you just know, like that's hard. That's not hard. Like even
to do,
you did a Diss Me track on yourself with the Kendrick Lamar song, and how you spit in that and rhyme to the exact flow that he has is not easy. And so I heard that, I'm like, oh, like that's actual fire. Like one, your lyrics made sense. Two, they're actually funny, and three, they're the exact cadence that he rapped it at. That's fucking difficult.
Those are hard.
And people are like, oh, they probably just think it's funny because you did a spiff or whatever. Like, no, like that probably took you hours.
Hard,
yeah, probably took you hella.
Difficult.
I bet it took you a long ass time. Everyone's like, oh, like I know David could rap. Like no, like David could actually rap. Like that's actually rapping.
It was like it's hard because it's like I'm trying to like the cadence is very difficult.
Yeah.
So like you're trying to imitate what this other rapper does, which is like
a really good rapper does.
So
not just anybody.
Shit. So it took a while for me. To do it. I was like, oh, god damn, this is actually hard. So to rewrite. But there's this one cat that I just found out about recently. His name is like Rice Gum, right?
I've heard of Rice Gum.
Kid, right? Terrible rapper.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's crushing it.
He's crushing
You can hear he's like everywhere.
Like
no, what is he? 16. I heard he's a
it.
big fan of Bart and all them.
Oh no!
Sure.
David, you better shoot yourself.
I don't really. This is just
no.
Being
honest.
I think he knows.
Know the fucking kid, but no, he doesn't know. He puts out like he goes, "Yo, I'm really working." He has a really nasally voice.
That's what I was
working on my boards and like these trash rappers out here, and I was like, but
he thinks he can rap.
The whole time when I was watching his videos, I thought that he was doing a parody.
So
I was like, "Yo, this kid's dope." Because it was super funny. It was so bad.
100% serious.
But he's actually 100% serious. I was like, oh,
I didn't know that.
I felt kind of bad onance again. It was like that talent show thing all over again. Where I was like,
that measly voice.
I thought he was a parody too. I thought he knew that. No. Because like I thought because if you go too hard and you have no talent, you end up being Soulja Boy. And like so Soulja Boy is a great example of what I was just talking about. Like if you know music, you're like, that doesn't take much talent. Like it takes like a little bit of like a catchy phrase and some fucking 808.
Some auto-tune in
there. But the thing about like rappers like Soulja Boy too, I think they know what their lane is. You know what I mean? So
staying in their lane.
So that kid like Rice Bum, like his shit. I'm sorry, I said his name.
Rice Bum.
Rice
He's crying right now. Just so you know.
I'm pretty sure he's a great kid, whatnot. But like
he's 16, so that's brings a whole
You
other
find out he's
factor. to it.
28.
Yeah, he's young.
So he just got his pubes. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
he doesn't know.
You know
You
what I
find out
mean?
he's 28.
Fucking millionaire.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No matter what I say, I'll still work for you, kid. So,
I'll ghostwrite.
I'll still fucking scrub your toilet. So don't take this like, who the fuck am I? But he's trying to write lyrical rap. So that's why I thought it was hilarious.
I didn't know that.
It was like some like he used like some kind of analogy like fades like supercuts, and I started cracking the I was like, this guy's funny. So I was like, yo, this kid's dope. But then I found out he was trying to be serious and he's trying to be a lyrical rapper. I was like, yo.
Yeah.
Did you see his response to iDubbbz when they had that whole?
I actually didn't see that. I only found out about I found out about him because of that iDubbbz video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, this kid's a little, he's a little on the spectrum.
Yeah, and then his response. I was gonna ask you because we're sitting here around a table of musicians, like Mike plays.
Oh, I'm
drums.
thinking of the wrong guy.
What were you thinking about? No, he did. You did the perfect when you said nasally, like
I
his
know.
voice.
Yeah.
And when he raps, like he doesn't mask it. It's still like Eminem when he raps, he has like a voice that he puts on. Same like Rice Cut just sounds like himself, and it's like super nasally.
Well, he just sounds like a kid that I would like stole his lunch money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? When
he's rapping how hard he is.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Mike?
I
You
forgot.
don't know.
Yeah,
So
lead the way.
I was gonna say we're surrounded by a table of musicians. Mike plays drums. I play some jazz piano and stuff. My brother's a
Bro,
guitar
I played
player.
every instrument. Name it.
Bro,
I played cello.
That's why do you think I
played the
referenced
trumpet.
Prince, the goat?
Waldorf, baby.
Yeah, I
was
played the recorder, the C flute.
I heard
piano,
the singing,
guitar. I sang in a choir.
Singing in a choir. It's everyone can do it.
So agreed, and I don't have a good voice, but at least I know it. Yeah, at least I know
I was
it.
gonna say, David, do you play like any instruments? Like you sing?
Very poorly guitar, very poorly piano. Because
really?
I haven't done it in so long.
Yeah.
I tried playing the guitar the other day. I was like, fuck this shit.
Bro.
I'm not doing this all over again.
It is one of the things that like you have to keep up. Like I was never some stellar
You have
drummer.
pitch recognition. I was gonna say,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
made me think piano. Maybe you did.
Yeah, there's some of that I do think's natural, but then same thing like to actually like hit a flow or whatever, like you have to practice. And like same with drumming. Like drumming came kind of natural to me. I was no star jazz drummer, but I could drum a little bit just because I had rhythm naturally. But then if I went hopped on right now, it'd be garbage just because there's still chops you gotta rust out.
Like I tried playing the guitar the other day and it was so difficult. Like I couldn't remember a damn chord in a song, and I just looked at this and was like, I ain't got time for this shit. I just tossed
No matter what, you're still better than Lil Wayne. Like when he picked up that
His
guitar,
guitar
that was
pretty bad.
it's so bad. It's the
because
worst.
I think he is a good rapper, and he had such a solid career, and then he started going so south.
I feel like so much music recorded, he could like release an album for the next 50 years.
Talk about hustle.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother part of music and everything we do.
He has like this. He has an engineer with him everywhere he goes. So like, he's on call.
Yeah, on his bus, I think he's like a recording
so
booth.
he'll
back.
just be like chilling, and if he's like in his hotel, he wants to record a track. He calls up the engineer. He has to wake up, go over to his room, and start doing his shit.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So for you, you did some singing. But stand-up was the first thing, like, because you are a man that has a lot of different talents. What was the one you wanted to pursue first? You said
stand-up. Was a stand-up? Musician,
and who were the inspirations? Because I hear you have a falsetto style, like you
you get after
there. So like, who are the
like R. Kelly?
Yeah, I was like Boyz II Men, Brian McKnight type of stuff. Yeah, I mean like Tyrese.
Start back and whoa.
That was my shit. Yeah. It was so funny.
David's cringing on this side.
This mic's broken now. But the funny thing was like I know. So my girlfriend brought me to. She knows how much I love Brian McKnight. She likes Brian McKnight too.
Yeah.
But she didn't realize how much I like Brian.
I think he was just here in Sac.
Yeah, I mean he's still touring and stuff. But she took me for my birthday. She got me a bunch of Brian McKnight concert tickets, and it was like literally towards the front. And she didn't realize how much of his music I knew. He played every single song.
You're just crushing it.
And there was like literally that concert is like me and her,
No.
and then like 300-pound black women. That's it.
Yeah.
But these women,
and they're all in their 40s
out
too.
the way. Yeah. And I was singing all the lyrics. These girls were looking at me like, "What the hell? Why you know all this music?" And I'm like, "Shut up!"
Yeah.
And I'm over here just like screaming at him. I'm like trying to throw my boxes at him and shit. Like it was all crazy.
Take me to your hotel.
And the only reason why I know all those songs too, I remember specifically because when I was 18, I got dumped by my very first girlfriend, and then his music.
Call her out. What's her name?
Oh my.
Call her out. She's messing up. You remember her name? Oh.
Is she doing well right now?
No,
I don't know. I haven't talked to her in like 8 years.
She's not doing good.
Okay.
You're crushing her, bro.
Okay.
I mean, she wasn't that bad of a person.
It just didn't work out. But he was the one that soothed your soul. You listen to his music and you're like, everything's gonna be all right. Is that the type of thing?
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
It's a
I
crime.
remember I cried so much. I was just like, oh,
A sensitive soul.
how does this fool write this music for me?
Yeah.
And that's why I know all these Boyz II Men music. It was just for being dumped once.
Boyz II Men, that whole not only genre but time in R&B will never be duplicated, and it's so amazing. It's so some people led it towards the edge of cringy. But some of them, when they crush it, like it's still like a good like Boys and Men song. Give me goosebumps. You're like, oh yeah,
sure,
that's
dude.
buddy, you're talking to me.
Sometimes I just want to get dumped again, so I
just
can
to
feel the
that.
music,
Yeah.
just like how
much it struck you.
Yeah, just fucking dump me real quick and get back to me after, and there's be a song that's specifically geared towards it. Fuck, man.
What did your girlfriend think when you were singing all along? Because I had something similar where I had a girlfriend take me to a Slash concert, like this guitar player, and I knew like all
this
the songs.
guitar player. We goddamn those Slash, right, bro?
All the lyrics, everything, and like at one point she was like it's like cool, whatever. I'm like there, I know everything, and then she kind of just like looked at me like you know everything. Like I know you're a fan, but not this much of a fan. You know,
we didn't know you were in love.
Yeah, was she kind of your girlfriend when you said you're singing along?
embarrassed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't want to say that. Yeah.
Does she not listen to any of it?
She does, but then like just to have like
Yeah.
a
It doesn't
grown
speak
ass
to her,
man that's
like-
the only one in the fucking concert.
Extreme.
singing every song is a little embarrassing.
Extreme.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like harmonizing with the guy too and shit. With like one finger.
You end
in
up
the
on
air.
stage.
Yeah. So I kind of lightway want him to bring me on so we can do a duet
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Like Brian, I sing too. You know.
Oh man, yeah. It's like. Yeah,
Why did you stop? Like, you did some singing on YouTube. You did a little bit of rapping on YouTube, and it's all like views are all relative, right? Like it's all
Yeah,
relative
yeah,
to
yeah.
the channel. Like they're
Well,
obviously.
you put out this stuff and people.
But people
appreciate
liked it.
It's not like
Yeah.
So sometimes when you said someone, let's say they do comedy and then they'll try and get us singing or whatever, and it doesn't do as well, and they're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, whatever.
yeah.
But like you have a cooking show now, you do, and they all do well. Like they all, none of them do poorly. So the point is, you could kind of maybe focus on any of them. Like what makes you decide what to push and what to hold back? Because we're talking off camera about that. The whole idea, you only have so much time.
I'm
So how do you decide?
just like the worst business guy ever. Yeah. So like I literally just do whatever I like.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? I think like that's kind of like geared towards like I wouldn't say like my minimal success, but it's more like if I had focused on one thing, then it would have skyrocketed better.
Yeah.
But I'm not that type of person who can do that because I get bored.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're a little bit similar.
Yeah, so it's kind of more along
Mine's
the
a
lines
success,
of
but
like, like you try something out, but I'll try it myself first before I put it out to the fucking public.
Sure.
It's just like with nowadays, it's just like I'm gonna just put it out to the public first, and if the public tells them that they're bad, they think that the public is stupid.
Right.
And it's just like no, you're just trash, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm trashing a lot.
They
of
don't
things,
understand
too.
my art.
Your YouTube took off because of like comedy and skits and kind of like stand-up stuff on YouTube, which I thought was unique because I'm not that like familiar with everybody on YouTube. We try to stay up because we're in the world a little bit.
I don't
Yeah,
get
but
it.
I know you were one of the first people I found that were like doing a stand-up basically on like a vlog mode, which was dope. I thought that was cool, and you made good cuts here and there, like, but it wasn't over-edited.
I was gonna say being genuinely funny, I think was the difference. And then kind of in JK News, maybe that was like showcase where like you don't have there's some people that use a lot of editing to like make a comedic thing, but like you're quick on your feet, and so like it works on a lot of different formats. And I think maybe that was one of the differences.
It's just because like I think I was like one of the first people on YouTube that actually had a legitimate stand-up background. It wasn't like, oh, I did a couple of stand-up shows and then they did like I legitimately wanted to be a stand-up comedian.
Sure.
And at that point, from like 16 all the way to like 24, that's a lot of years under your belt. So like at that point, like I just try to. I mean, it was just like stand up on crack, and at that time, 3-minute format was king. So you couldn't go past 3 minutes, or people would have lost interest.
That transfers perfectly.
Yeah, so I just had to take stand up and condense it and make it a little more intense, or a lot more intense, anyways. But that was just the general segue that I had for it. And it's weird too because when I remember watching the first person, I didn't know that you could actually make content on YouTube. I thought you had to have like some kind of special account or some shit. To watch Korean drama and shit and learn how to fix my car.
What year would this be around, David? When you started like kind of just looking at YouTube?
Shit, what was I fucking? It's like 6 years ago. Or something like that, and around there. And then this guy named Shane Dawson. He was, really big guy. I don't know what he's up to now, but guy was killing it. And I saw his stuff, and no offense to him, but this is me being a hater back in the day. I saw this, I was like, "Wow, this guy's trash." So let me.
I think we felt the same way when it comes to fitness. Not that people
and
are trash,
podcasts,
but we could do it at the same level, if not better.
No, I think that the difference between being a hater is you talking shit from your couch. And if you're not a hater, is you talking shit and you're gonna prove them wrong.
Yeah, we'll put ourselves forward. Like you can judge me against what I'm hating against.
Like I'm gonna call out every podcast that's out there that they fucking suck, and then this one's gonna be funnier and more entertaining. Like that's just how it is.
For me, it was just more like because I had like a stand-up background. I was like, I could do this better because I didn't know that guy was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. So let me just do what I'm gonna do, and then the channel blew up and so on and so forth.
Yeah. When was the first time you put music on that channel? And then
I actually had a music channel before I did.
Really?
And it didn't do that well.
No, it did well. It had like at that time it had like 20,000 subscribers, and 20,000 was like
That's
people
that's
don't
a channel.
understand context, man.
Yeah. And so it had an equivalent. I mean, I think like at that time, the equivalent would be like having like 500,000 subscribers, which is a decent amount.
No, it's good.
So like I focused on that, and originally I had that music channel because I was trying to teach my. So I used to be a youth minister too, so I was trying to like teach.
Wow, that went.
We're gonna go in on that. Hold on, back up.
Like,
David?
I started with that because I was trying to teach my youth kids how to play guitar. So I would upload these videos.
All those kids in jail now, huh? They're the worst mentor ever.
So
couldn't play that G chord.
Like these like tutorials and stuff, and
that's cool.
Put it up there, and I just put up covers here and there.
Yeah.
And that kind of did well. But there's like a certain point in your life you start to realize that you can't just do so many different things and be good at it. So I decided to drop music and just do comedy. So I actually deleted that channel.
Oh, really? So it's gone.
It's gone.
Is that just
because I've never seen it?
Yeah, I haven't either. Is that just because you think you were had a better chance at comedy, like you were better at it, even though you loved music? Like you said, you wanted to be a musician.
It wasn't that I just didn't like it as much. You know what I mean? So it was more like. So there was this time I did like this stand-up show for my friend Vince, and we used to do like these community shows at like whatever, you know, like dance music, whatever, all this other shit, variety shows and shit. I was supposed to do music, and I just remember I was doing stand-up still at the time. I just kind of like looked at it. I remember I was on stage. I still remember this to this day because he was there. He kind of freaked out a little bit. I was like, "Yeah, I can't do music." He's like, "What?" And I literally just
the night
my
of,
guitar and I just grabbed the mic. I started doing stand-up instead. Yeah, and I did like a 30 or 20 minute set, and then it killed. It did really fucking well, and people were cracking the fuck up. And I was just like, oh shit, maybe I actually like this more.
Yeah. I've never done stand-up comedy, but I've been a fan of it for a long time. I listen to Rogan's podcast, and people talk about comedy a lot, and it does seem, and even just like my personality, I'm the guy in the room that wants to make people laugh. And like that even feeling of being in a group 10 at dinner, that feeling is obviously amplified when you're on stage with hundreds of people. Yeah, it is more unique than anything else. I've played drums in front of probably 5,000 people, and it was cool, and the energy's cool, but one, it's drums, so you're in the way back, no one gives a fuck what you're doing.
And you can't feel that reciprocity of the reaction of people. Like, you're doing with a joke, it's instantaneous, like 100%.
Even if I twirl my sticks, no panties are dropping, but if you make a good joke, some shit might drop on stage,
So back to that question, though, David, about what gets like the most amount of pussy. Cooking, music,
comedy.
Well, now I don't know because but I'm thinking when I was younger.
Yeah, what would you think between the three?
Mind you, like that's like music was a way to offset my trashy looks. So
I would go for music. Out of those three, I would say music.
I mean, music was the one that got girls most. And then mind you, too, like I'm not talking about like for anybody listening to this, like if you do music, it instantly means you're gonna get a girl.
Yeah,
absolutely not. But when the odds are against you, you gotta bring out.
We gotta stack everything. I
gotta bring out the tools.
No, I got jokes, bitch. Too. Yeah. Stay.
Yeah,
I can also cook.
I was like, which one? I'm like tossing eggs and like I'm like So I'm just this was like little things that I would do. Just
your
to get
walking variety show.
You know what I mean? I'm like doing.
Bitch, I'll stand on my head.
Yeah. So music was one of those things, but I think at that time in high school, music was it. College, it was the jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it depends on what age gap that you're in.
So that I think is huge too, right? Because like who's really loving Justin Bieber? Like some 16-year-old girls that don't know any different. Like a 25-year-old chick's like, no, that dude's a cokehead. Like I don't care if he can sing into my ear, whispering me sweet nothings.
And that cooking / humor is something
like a 30-year-old.
One more trick. So what's going to carry you into your 40s then? Like that was like
good at taxes, retirement.
I think like
your 20s comedy.
If I'm 40 and I'm single at that point,
you're done fucked up.
I just
get a couple cats.
I just have to look good for my age. You know what I mean? That's like one of those things. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say for you, were you always kind of quick on your feet? Like growing up, was that one of the things where in class, like Mike was kind of talking about that sense of exhilaration? You tell a joke, you get it back. Were you always kind of that kid in class, like cracking jokes, or what? Like how did that come about?
I just grew up like with a lot of black folks, and like black people just like clown each other all the time.
Roast
so if you're like that only Asian kid in the group, they're gonna try to roast you first.
So you gotta roast back hard.
Just roast back really hard. And what I found out too is just like I guess kind of like when you grow up with a bunch of people who just like clown each other 24/7. That doesn't really translate as well to like the outer youth who grew up a lot nicer.
Yeah.
So like when like I remember like on Twitter, I don't do it anymore, but somebody would just write some kind of stupid comment towards me, but I would write some like harsh ass shit back, because that's
just go in. Yeah.
But then they're like, "Whoa, that's too far." I was like, "What? You started it!" But I didn't know that there was levels of what you can and can't say.
Yeah.
It's just like
I think it does depend. Obviously, where you grew up, how you grew up, but even like there's little subcultures everywhere. Like I did go to a fancy school my whole life, but just growing up.
He's about to give a street rep. Right
well, just going on to basketball culture is the same thing.
Basketball culture is the same. You find
yes, of course. All you do is roast like all day, like in a game, serious, off the court, joking, like. But it's probably where I got my shit too,
Yeah.
like shit talking, but then turning it light so you don't get punched.
Yeah.
You know, like
How you handle yourself on the internet also is totally different than real life.
Yeah.
I had a like guest on the channel, and someone wrote a negative comment towards him, just said like, "Hey man, I think your information's wrong, whatever." And his insult, so that was like whatever, that was like a fair criticism.
Yeah.
And he said something like I fucked your mother. So
Yeah.
this is response. Like, he just went in against him. Like he elevated that game so hard, like the guy that had on the channel, because it wasn't used to. Like I think it would have came off better in real life, like if the guy said that and he cracked it as a joke, but just writing those words came across so cold.
I think it's another
so
thing,
unnecessary.
not to switch too many topics, but like you talked about having 20,000 people or whatever 6 years ago on YouTube or whatever. Or even me, you know, like I'm barely at 100 now, but mine was such a slow growth.
Like,
I've
please
been,
don't promote your YouTube channel on here.
but y'all can follow me. But I've been on the internet for like 5 years. You learn, like with the slow growth, you learn how to handle shit. With anything, right? A job, a career, singing, rather than like if you just go viral, where a lot like you said, like channels, everyone's popping up with 1 million channels or 1 million subscribers, and
They
people
have
are popping up with
meltdowns over things that happen where they can't take either a joke or they
yeah,
can't.
they're freaking out. Or Instagram's even
Well,
worse.
it's also because like the kids who blow up now, I mean, they're also more current, so they do stuff that it's very popular, and they don't know how to do, and they're super young too, so of course they're gonna melt down. They're a bunch of pussies, so it's like
If you insult Jake Paul one more time, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit.
you know, and like mind you too, because I'm only putting it in this perspective. If I was
Yeah.
16 and I got that shit, I'd have a meltdown too.
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't know
what I
what
mean?
to
So
do.
they're a little younger, and you know their fucking brains are pussified, so they're
Yeah.
not used to getting like real world like coming like crushing down
Yeah.
on them. Like they're like, this person left me a comment, I'm super
Yeah.
depressed. Well, what the fuck, bitch? Like
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
to
or
tell
they don't
you.
have that. I hate using that word, but they don't have that like grind or being rejected, like basically
Yeah.
being like their ass handed.
Or
to
even
them to come
filtering
back.
through shit, like what's actual critique, what could I learn from, what's garbage that I should just throw away,
Yeah.
and then if someone's actually threatening me, how do I go back at them?
Yeah,
Which is a rare
and
case, obviously.
Sometimes too, like I get, you know, if I write like a comment back, you know, these kids are like, man, he's super angry. It's like, no, I'm most likely I'm probably taking a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I was
I'm
looking
bored,
at my
yeah.
phone, I was like, all right, I might as
Yeah.
well just respond
Yeah.
to this. You know what I mean? But that's their world though. That's how they view it. They see like if you respond back, that means you were.
Yeah.
You were
Oh,
inciting-
they
wanna
won.
troll.
Yeah.
So that's the whole trolling game to me. Never made any sense because they're trying to get a rise out of you, but it's almost like someone saying, "Hey," like trying to get your attention, and then you're like, "Hey, man, can you just quiet down over there?" And they're like, "I got you."
Yeah.
Like you
What-
said something. You're like, "No," like you were being the hella annoying kid in class, like annoying everyone else.
I do think
Yeah.
that's semi-real, and it just has to do with age. Because there's a kid in school, right, that's always fucking flicking your
Yeah.
your hoodie or
I would
something.
just smack the shit out of him in
Right.
person. So it's like,
Yeah.
how's
I know
this
what I
any
mean, but
different? Yeah.
but that's the troll. That's the same thing on the
100%.
internet, and then
it's
now
a desperate cry for attention.
There's
What's weird,
adults
it's like,
on the internet.
It's like, I think, was it you that posted or someone? I just read it, or maybe like some comedian where someone said along the lines like, if you're a troll, like leaving comments like month after month. I've had this happen to me like year after year. I'm like, you're not a hater. I'm like, bitch, you're a fan.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
if
here
if
every
you're
day.
that dedicated, like
Yeah.
just take some inward retrospection of yourself, introspection in yourself, to see like what's going on. It's like if you leave that much comments, like maybe you secretly like the content.
Yeah, you
know,
love
like-
me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird. When you know, also too, like the people who leave those comments, they happen to be channels with like they just made it the other day, or they have no pictures of their face, and you know they're not gonna really see. It's
anonymity of the internet.
It's just like I just kind of like learned to deal with it in the sense of like the world that we live in now is just evolved or devolved or however you want to call it in a different way, you know. So people they look for, and it started with our generation too, with MySpace and everything else, because they're looking for validation through those comments that they write,
100%.
and they're just waiting for somebody to like,
And
they're waiting for
recognize it.
somebody to say, "Oh, you're funny," oh, blah blah blah, and they thrive off that shit. I mean, probably they. I mean, I don't mean to say that you don't have friends. You know, like, you know what I
Just
mean?
go, David. Just
Like,
go for it.
like
Yeah.
you don't have friends. You're probably a fucking loser.
Yeah, focus
Like,
on something else,
This is like something that I'm just assuming, because if you're sitting there every day and you're waiting for validation from somebody else that you don't know on a comment that was really stupid, I mean, you're probably a fucking loser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I see you, and you definitely won't say that shit to my fucking face, because I choke the fucking shit out of you. You know?
Oh no, it's 100% that case. I actually think in ways adding like YouTube, you know how they have a like feature. They won't show how many dislikes a comment gets, or just even on Facebook, where for a long time it was just likes.
Yeah.
It creates that need to try and be the top comment. Same idea on like Reddit or anything like that, where it makes people try and say things that stand out, like to get that validation, because they
Point
view
system.
they view it as a cookie. Then like I got rewarded, you know what I mean? And I think that's unfortunately part of the reason why a lot of social media has succeeded, because it's it's like a video game. They I forget, it was like on 60 Minutes, some developer of whatever app, but they talk about trying to get the most amount of time for a user on an app, and all these little things they do about like the likes popping up on Instagram on the feed. It's like, oh, like I posted this photo. Like, how's it doing? Like, we all probably, you
Yeah.
know, on your Instagram, you take a look. It's like, oh, after an hour, I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. All these little things that they put in our brains. This is quest for validation.
That endorphin thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they just get that rush.
Yeah, the psychology of that has been studied a lot. I've seen similar stories that you were talking about, those Candy Crush and shit like that. Because then people start spending money on it because they want to be the highest score, and then you can see your friend's score, so you're trying to beat your friend's score. So, oh, Dave's at 16,000 points. All right, I'm gonna spend $2, get an extra life, and I'm gonna get 17,000. Like, fuck that fool.
It's so weird too, because like I think I live in such an odd world because I really should give a fuck sometimes. You know what I mean? And I don't.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And that's my biggest.
I think
No,
you're better
but
off.
it allows. I think so. Well, yes, that's true. I think it also allows you to express yourself more freely in a more pure, like do what you want to do, like with the content you want to put out. Like again, going back to that notion of someone, if you had like you have something that's a hit and it's working, like you do comedy, and people like it.
And then you write it too hard.
Yeah, you're kind of just like, you know what, I want to do some singing. Like I'll post a singing video, or like I'll do a cooking thing. Like I think it makes you more authentic over the long period of time.
It's weird too because like sometimes like people say like, well, because like I have a few series that did really well, right? So I used to do like these things called carpal confessions where and then you could say whatever you like, and I just get them to talk about personal stuff that they normally wouldn't on their stuff, just because I think a lot of people have like weird stories and demons. But if you talk with a comedian about it, it can be really funny.
Sure.
So that's what that whole thing was about, and it was doing really well. But then, because it started doing well super fast, I got bored with it, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Conquered.
And then you know, because it was done. You know what I mean? I proved my point. So it's like, on to the next one.
But that's kind of like, you ever watch the show The Office?
Yeah, I love The Office.
So the British Office, like I like the British Office, and also the American Office was great, but it's almost like never overstaying your welcome. Yeah. Where like you did something, you did a great job at it, and people, getting back to that notion, they'll chase the success. They'll keep doing it basically until it gets super
beat
old.
it to the ground.
I think it's way better to kind of be like that indie underrated band. It's way better to be underrated than overrated. Like if you posted only, let's say, like 20 episodes, I'm making up a number here, and people are like, that was I wish it would come back, as opposed to 130, and they're like
I got halfway through
after season 10, man, it just went downhill. I think that's a lot better.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like I also realized like who am I gearing my content towards, you know? And it's really first it's to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh shit, they're like, well, what's your age group? I was like, I don't know if I have an age group per se. I think I'm just creating for me.
Yeah.
You know, and then people have that ability, you know, you just have that, you could watch my shit if you like, you know? If you don't like it, that's cool, you know?
Is that what kind of led you to your latest project, I guess, that maybe isn't the biggest because it's hard to say, but you're in the movie Gook. Which did really well. I was following along on your...
I thought not just in the movie. I thought, did you not have a hand in it?
Yeah. I'm getting there. Can I finish my sentence? I was like, I followed the whole process a little bit just through seeing you every, 3 months or whatever, and then on your Instagram. You helped produce, you acted in your main role, but it started as like just, it seemed like an indie film. You went to a couple, I guess is how it always goes if you don't have a budget. You went to a couple festivals, it did well. Then I just saw you pop up out of nowhere like, oh, we made it in a couple theaters here in LA. I was like, fuck man, LA's a long drive to go to that. I want to support you, but I'm not going, bro. But then I saw in my local listings it was here, and so I went and saw it, and it was dope. I liked it a lot. But that's like way, even though there were some funny parts in there, and you had like a 20% comedic role in there, very different vibe of a movie compared to your Brian McKnight covers or your comedy on YouTube. Is that because you got bored of these other things, or you just still exploring?
I think it was just more along the lines of like, well, number one, my like really close friend Justin, he asked me to be a part of it, and then he brought up the project a while ago. You know, yo, we should do a movie together. We should do something, and he even brought up the notion of like we should probably co-direct this. And I was like, hell, fucking no, like, are you crazy?
That's a lot of work, bro.
Like 5-minute videos. Yeah, what the fuck I'm doing.
But I like how you recognize what you can do, what you can't do. It's like, well, I'll be in this. I'll help.
That's why a lot of like these young YouTubers, they put that title of, and that's like another thing of this generation. They like to put on a title.
Actor, director. Yeah, I'm a director. I'm like, director of what, man?
Like these there's like Vine cats who I love what they do. You know, I laugh at a lot of their shit, but they write director. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. You directed what? A 6-second video? Kill yourself.
On an iPhone.
Yeah, and so, but like with that was just more like, okay. But you know, when you're trying to be an actor, and then there's a lot of these like social media stars who try to create stuff. A lot of things that I do is out of spite. So you know what I mean. So
there's almost like a subversive element to it, like almost like
it's actually very Korean of me. You know what I mean? Like Korean people love doing that type of shit. It's like, oh, you did that? I'm gonna do it better than you.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me, it was like, I see a lot of like YouTube people going to films and they make trash films. They make terrible stuff.
Bad.
They don't try to act. They think it, and they trash on the art of acting and filmmaking.
So you mean Smosh the movie was bad?
Is that what you? Amazing.
That's
terrible. No, but you know, like those type of things too. And I'm not. For them to, if they're just doing it for fun, that's cool. I just don't like the kind of like the pretentious things that come along with it when they haven't really they haven't made their dues.
It's the same thing as we talked about music. Like, all right, you're trying to sing on YouTube, but you don't even know like a chord. You don't know basic like.
And like with the
counts.
whole movie thing was like, okay, like I wanted to show people too. It's like, well, don't group me with them. Like I'll do the legwork.
Yeah.
And so with that, it was working with Justin. He helped me a lot with my acting, and we worked on these characters for like a few months
to really flesh it out.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I haven't seen it yet, but judging by the trailer and also even the events it takes place, was it influenced at all by any like Spike Lee work? I'm thinking about Do the Right Thing. Yeah,
and
that's what
there was like
about.
a lot of films that it was based off. I'm not based off of per se, but really
inspired by, or
you know what I mean. So that's where Justin kind of like drew a lot of the stuff. I mean, most of this stuff is all Justin. I was just there to help along the way. But I mean, the film is so interesting too, and not a lot of people will get it, So like, I've read a lot of like critic reviews. A lot of them are great. Some of them just miss the whole point of the film 100%.
They don't understand. Is it like their perspective? Like maybe they aren't able to see it.
Straight up, it's because they're white.
Yeah.
Like if you're a white dude that grew up around white people, you grew up around this type of situation, you're gonna think a lot of things are exaggerated, and it's not gonna make sense.
Bro, sorry, not to cut you off, but racism, it doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about. It's 2017. It's all in your mind, bro. Everyone has equal opportunity here.
Yeah, it's so weird.
You're like, that's cute.
Some reviews, and then they were like, well, this stuff is, the way they were arguing, that's not how a lot of people argue, or this thing, the Mexican characters were exaggerated. It's like, that's funny because a lot of these are based on they were actual gangbangers. But they're telling them like that's an exaggerated like Mexican gangbangers don't talk like that. It's like, that's so funny that you could lay an opinion. It's not even an opinion. It's a fact. It's about our film, about something that's so genuine, and when you haven't even lived it or been near it.
Well, it's just all perspective, like you said. Like it could be a white thing, it could be a race thing, but it could be where you grow up. It could just be like the rest of the nation doesn't even know what LA's like. They see LA in Rush Hour 3, and they're like, oh yeah, like I know Hollywood Boulevard. Like, no, you don't. Like, there's a lot of Latin people that live there that barely speak English. That's just fact. Yeah.
There's two things that reminds me totally. I don't know if you've seen the Key and Peele skit where they get like a guy that's an actual gangbanger. He plays and then they get the British actor to like play also a gangbanger, and like the director, this white dude, like loves the British guy's interpretation of what it means to be a gangster. And then Peele's like, but I'm actually like from the streets. Like I know this through and through. And he's like, nah, it's just not believable to me. Yeah. And so the British guy,
that shit's like a real reflection of like these auditions though. Like you'll come in and like their perception of like, for example, there's this guy, really nice dude. Like he played this character on being on Kimmy Schmidt or some shit.
Yeah, the incredible Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah,
that
so
show.
this guy Ki Hong, right?
Yeah,
dope dude. He was in like Maze Runner or something like that. But he's supposed to play a Vietnamese like transit, right? Yeah. But he's speaking in like this broke ass, like terrible, like 1960s Chinese accent.
Yeah,
so
not
the
even
person
close.
who casted that person was like, that's close enough. I'm like, what the fuck? That's not even a Vietnamese accent.
I think it depends on the goal of the movie. It depends on the goal of the project or the movie or whatever as well, right? Are you trying to make an entertaining movie? Or like you guys were obviously trying to tell a story and put us in a time and a place where a lot of people weren't. So like you going into the project, you probably had to have that ahead. Like people won't understand this because they weren't here.
Yeah, it's like completely understandable. It's just more along the lines of like sometimes like when I read, I kind of miss. So back in the day too, I think like you would read these reviews of these films, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about these people would write this shit literally 2 hours after they watched the film.
Yeah.
You didn't even like sit and
let it digest.
And they write these like reviews, and this is not just for this film. I'm not just talking about Google. I'm talking about music, everything. It's what I hate about it. So they don't even give a film a chance or music a chance. Yeah. So what they'll do is they'll watch a film, and they'll right when it turns on, they're dissecting it. It's like, but you're not watching the film.
Yeah. Well, and are they really dissecting it? Like, what's their job? They're a movie critic.
But
what do they do?
But they're analyzing it rather than experiencing it.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure when you make a film and when you're a filmmaker, I'm 100% sure that nobody wants you to analyze your film. They want you to experience what they're showing you. You analyze it on the second watch.
So I think it depends because that was my point of like the project, right? Like whoever made fucking Thor 18, no one gives a fuck to analyze it. Like our day and age of movies and pop movies, if you go to a theater, like I'm sure a lot of people that went to your movie knew who you guys were, knew about the project or something, but the people that went there and saw the movie that didn't really know what was going on, they just saw it in their theater, they didn't know what to expect, and so they're expecting fucking hammers to throw out and the Hulk to smash out of a wall. And so like the critique you give a movie like that and the job of a movie critic in 2017 is much different. It's not actually a movie critic.
But I would say even beyond that, the problem is that critics are oftentimes incredibly wrong. You'll look at what won Best Picture for a year, and then you'll see what kind of the cream that rises to the top when it's movies that are regarded really well. Like let's say like Gone with the Wind, you could go all the way moving forward to when we talk about music. So I love rock and roll. Like Van Halen, like Rolling Stone the magazine, the first album, like the electric guitar, Eddie Van Halen revolutionized it. But it came out and the music critic listened to it, and like he wrote that review that week, and he said, "There's nothing new here. It's like not interesting." Meanwhile, fans listened to it, and it became one of the most well-respected album of all time.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like movies. It's like they're really wrong. Like when they say either this is a bad movie, then wait 5 years and see what happens.
I don't know
or
if it's
a great movie.
I don't know if it's about wrong or right, but that's what I'm saying is that it's turned into a job for them, and so it's almost like it's on a treadmill for them, right? They go to a movie, they write some shit. They go to a movie, they write some shit. They listen to a song, they write some shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like that's like the exact point that I'm making.
Yeah.
Like with those type of like arts, you got to sit and breathe and live with it. So like I was watching this interview with like Jay-Z, right? He was talking about how music was digested back in the day. Not even back in the day. This is like 10 years ago or so, And I'm thinking about it too. And when he said it, I was like, holy shit, that's actually absolutely right.
Yeah.
So people would hear an album. Let's say Kanye puts out an album, right? Kanye puts out an album, and the next day a critic says, "This is the fucking best album ever." How the fuck do you know that?
Yeah.
You listen to how many times? One time,
it came
2
out
times?
like a couple of hours of it, right? Yeah. And before too, when people would get these, before they would lay a review, like in Vibe magazine, whatever, right? These critics would get the album like 3-4 weeks before the release, and they would sit with the album for like a couple of weeks, and then they would lay their opinion down. And then that's what I fucked up on, because like when I heard that interview, I was like, oh shit, that's right, that's what I used to do. Yeah. Because we never got music so quick. Yeah. So when we had like a dope album, it stayed with us, and you kind of had that track with you.
It was just in your car. It was just in your car every day.
I'm gonna get ultra hipster for a second. 2 things I gotta say quick. One, just to go back to the critic thing, like how often they could be wrong. With Spike Lee, because like Spike Lee's like my guy for the director, Do the Right Thing. The same year that movie came out, Driving Miss Daisy, which is like the complete opposite type of movie, won, I think it was like Best Picture, and Do the Right Thing came out, and at the time critics were like, oh yeah, like it's good. 25 years later, 30 years later, what is the movie everyone's talking about? That's frequently in the top 50. It's Do the Right Thing. But I was gonna say, going back to hipster style music, that's why, no joke, dude, I started collecting vinyl, because it's kind of an experience where you put the like vinyl on, you sit back, you listen to the whole damn thing. You're not like fast forwarding to the best part. You're not like reading reviews like, oh, track 6 is the best track. You just put the vinyl on, sit back, listen, and kind of absorb it.
That depends on the artist and the time too, though, because nowadays they just want a single to get on the radio so they can make money, rather than back in the day, like they're artists and they want to make an album.
It's also just like the culture of wanting to be first.
Yeah,
sure.
Like
first
I have
comment.
to be the first to comment, the first person to like critique this piece of work before everybody else does. Our media fascists do that same type of shit, even with like tragedies and like terrorist attacks.
So
and all
bad.
This it's just about
first to tweet, first to make the YouTube video.
Yeah, like you're not allowed.
24 hours.
And it's like I was listening to like the 444 album, right? And then when I first heard it, I was like, it sounds like it wasn't even mixed that well, whatever. But then I remember, I was like, holy shit, like I'm kind of just like, my life is so hectic, I never sat with the album. So what I did, like on a long drive, like in traffic, I just put the album from track 1 all the way to the end.
Sure.
It's kind of hot.
I was like, oh shit, this is fucking dope as hell. And I passed up, like there was a John Legend album too I actually didn't like, but it actually became one of my favorite ones. It was, I forgot which album, it was like Revolver, there you go, that was the album. And I was like, man, it's not like his old shit. However, I just didn't listen to the album, and so I kind of moved past it, and then I went back to it like a year later, and I listened. I was like, now I know every fucking song on that fucking album because I sat with it, And that's what it is too. That thing is like an art piece. It starts from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And it's like
albums tell stories sometimes.
It's not
444 was one of the first albums I listened to. Actually digested for the first time probably since high school, when because I drive places now, but like I'm listening to talk radio. I feel like I'm an adult. I want to learn what the fuck's happening in the world, if I'm gonna get bombed or not. Whereas you're a kid, you don't give a shit. You just throw an album in, and there's a CD player in your car. Now I don't even have that. But I was in Miami. Shout out to Jacob and my homie Luau Dang talking basketball. So I was at Luau's house, and they're all huge hip hop heads. And the album dropped that day, and so then they turned it on like smart TV or whatever. And it was like a listening party, which like I'd heard about as a kid because I've been into hip hop, but I've never been part of it. And so there's like 6 of us, and we're just chilling, just waiting to go on a cruise tomorrow. And we're literally just like 6 dudes that all like hip hop sitting on a couch, and the album's just playing, and no one's really saying a word. Like some of us would bob our head to some songs, some of us kind of look at each other like shrug a song off, whatever it might be. But it was like an actual listening party, digest it, and that's why I had a feeling similar to you, where the first time I heard it though, I was like, oh, this is kind of hot, almost purely because of how I listened to it, and I actually digested it.
Yeah.
Which people don't do anymore. Like you said, like how many people even buy an album? They don't. I'm not talking a Napster, this and that conversation. I'm talking like you just go to iTunes and download the single.
Sure.
Like you don't even buy the album or give it a chance.
It's that instant gratification though, where you said everyone wants that like top single.
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction. I think everyone's just trying to go for that single or to be famous or to get that first like, rather than maybe saying something. And that's why I think it is totally different how people used to experience music, and it even reflects in the type of music that's being put out.
Yeah, it's in every single facet. Like I'm trying to like, I think, it's not like we're fucking old or anything, but it's like I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking about things, you know. It's like why are things like the way they are right now?
It is because of our generation.
It's just we started.
We fucked up. We fucked up
really bad.
Yeah,
we started with the MySpace name.
The MySpace angles. That was like
we fucked up.
You know what I mean? That was lightweight. It's our fault. You know? I was like, oh shit! Like we just kind of like started it, and then it just grew into this monster. You know what I mean? And it's even like in your guys' field, like with just fitness, right? Like it's amazing. Like I see what people promote with a lot of their products and what they do, but it's just. They really don't give a fuck about the consequences. What they do.
No.
Like for example, like you guys already know, like when it comes to like gear, you know, people are selling like fitness programs that you can be me, you know, but you're on gear.
Yeah, you're spending $3
Say
grand.
it, David. It's my favorite topic.
We can't say it. We can't say it. We're haters, but you can go
come across as haters when we say that.
I'm cool with whatever fitness program you do or whatever whatnot, but there's people like me who are laymen who prior to me not even doing my research, I was like, well, how the fuck did you do that in 3 months?
You could be like me, bro. Just get the program. What are you talking about?
Am I eating different kind of chicken than you?
Is mine not organic? Is that why I'm not shredded?
It's like, how the fuck did those strawberry belts get you those belts? You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think about this shit, and I start researching and I look at stuff, and then I had a friend who lives in Sac right now that was a bodybuilder, and he's the one that really put me onto the stuff. He goes, that guy's on gear. I was like, no way, how do you know? He goes, because I sold it to him. So it's like,
you got the inside scoop.
And these people who claim to be all natural and all this other stuff, and it's just like, why do you do that? You know what I mean? Like you're fucking up these
the quick mind. No one has any kind of dignity or like self-respect, because it is all about, it's like, you know what, like David, from us taking a look at analytics and who succeeds and who doesn't, have like a good idea of how much some people make that are, let's say, like we call them fake natties in the industry, that are enhanced but claim that they're natural, and they do exponentially better. So if you got the look that is basically unattainable, it's appealing to our eye because it's so unusual for the human eye to see that. We're not used to either our genetics or just seeing people to look that good. So we're attracted to that unnatural level, but we want to believe it's possible to be that level naturally. And so they'll sell like 5 times the amount, 6 times the amount. So it's like the quick answer why they're doing it. It's like, shit, it pays a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, but it's so like industry unique in that sense, where like other people aren't selling. Like T-Pain, even though, shout out to T-Pain, I don't know if you probably know, T-Pain can like sing. T-Pain's a gangster. I saw him in concert. He opened for Wayne, and he crushed it. Comes out, no auto-tune. Stevie Wonder cover on the piano, played the whole thing, crushed it. Comes out, does a drum solo.
Stevie Wonder's my man.
Dude, crushes it. But beside the point, he didn't come out with auto-tune. One, he made auto-tune cool because he wanted to change the game, and he liked it. And that was his style. But he didn't start selling DVDs on how to sing like me, and then don't sell them auto-tune or don't tell them about auto-tune. That's kind of what steroids are, and that doesn't happen in other industries.
What's your perception, David, of like the fitness industry from kind of like, as you said, like getting into it or like just seeing it as an outsider? Like, how do you feel about the whole thing?
It's so, I love
when you make that noise. I know you're about to go in on something, but you're just like, should I?
So here's the thing, like I like the human body and what it can do. I just don't want to do it for myself. You know, so like it's pretty amazing, right? Just because I grew up a lot of dudes who did fitness, like a friend of mine's name is Sam, like he did bodybuilding, and that's how I kind of saw it. I remember watching Pumping Iron, right?
Yeah, wow. So good.
Yeah, Pumping Iron, like just when I was younger, obviously I didn't watch it when it came out, but it was so fascinating to me. And like watching, even like bodybuilding aesthetics has changed so much. Yeah. Like I'm looking at people like Kai Green, Phil Heath. Sure. They look like genetic bulls versus like during the Arnold days,
the golden era.
They were on gear and shit, you know what I mean? But there was symmetry to their shit. They looked beautiful. Symmetry. It looked like Greek statues. You know, and I'm looking and I kind of watched, like, I think they redid Pumping Iron again, like on
Generation
I think
Iron.
1 or 2.
Iron, right? And I was like, you guys look disgusting.
Yeah. But what's weird, it's like that same idea where everything is taken to the limit. We're like to that like niche. So like bodybuilders who like want, it's called like the X frame, like that big bulky look. They're like, damn, that's it. It's like, but to like the common person just watching that, it's like it's totally lost them then.
Yeah, and to no fault of their own too, because that's just how. Like your technology, it just fucking grew.
Oh yeah.
And so it became a standard
for them to keep up.
One up, and it's just grown into this weird thing.
Oh yeah,
it's a weird.
It's so interesting to hear, like, because like we feel, so sometimes we'll say certain things. Like I feel the same way. Like maybe what's more aesthetic or what to the eye is like more pleasing when it comes to the body. You talk like Greek statues or the golden era, right? And we all kind of be like, yeah. But then we see what's kind of being put out, like who wins the Mr. Olympia, like the #1 bodybuilding show, and it's like the freaks. And it's just interesting how that works out in everything, almost in every field.
I wish like sometimes like for fitness for most people, I think what happens a lot is like when it becomes such a hardcore business, money just seems to like pollute a lot of the things that are being put out there.
Yeah.
So with fitness, it's even more irking for me because these are like. It's like a physical part of their life. Like you're fucking with these kids' heads.
Giving them body dysmorphias, bro.
Yeah, like my friend Billy. There's this thing called Billy K Fitness where he actually changed. He was a really really large guy, and because of like macro fitness, he actually leaned up. He looks really good.
Sure.
But he'll get clientele now. They're like, okay, I've lost the weight. I got muscle. I got that. I look good. It's like, but I want to look like that.
Yeah.
He goes, I can't do that for you. Like, number one, that person's a different person than you are.
Yeah.
And second of all, he's on something.
Yeah, he took a different path.
You need to learn to be content with what you have.
Yeah, and they're like, well, just give me a program so I can. He's like, I can't.
It's not a program, bro. I can't.
I cannot do it. And for him, it's a little discouraging too because now, like the mental issue that he was trying to help these people fix, it's still there. It's fucked.
That's a lot of industries too, though, because like
it's not just fitness.
But everyone's fucked up psychologically. Like all three of us, it's definitely fucked up to some extent.
It's probably the most narcissistic and the most 100%. Vain. Where you see that, it's so like Instagram basically blew up, dude. Like a portion of the fitness industry. That I think what's weird is YouTube. Like kind of there were some channels that were all about like, hey, look at me. But there's a lot of like information channels. So YouTube was kind of becoming a more positive space, and then Instagram came about, and now it's just like check out this ass shot, check out how swole I am, like kind of a regression almost.
Yeah, well, in the scheme of the platform, like fitness on YouTube is what, like 5% or less. Yeah, it's nothing. But
the biggest channel has 1.5 million subscribers,
which is like a small comedy channel or a small music channel on YouTube. But in Instagram, like fitness might damn be like 50%. It's probably 40% fitness, like 40% food.
On my search feed, like it's either food or fitness, which is so oxy. I'm like, what is this? Like, what is Instagram doing to me? Right?
That's where you meet in the middle, bro.
Yeah, it's so weird. I was gonna say, just when you talked about perception or how people look and all those sorts of things, you entering now, you have an Instagram account, right, where you're getting into fitness. What are maybe some like pitfalls or things like kind of entering the game that you experienced, or like things that you've learned along the way
in terms of fitness?
Yeah, just for yourself, because like you're starting the process. Like I like also the way you describe it on Instagram. It's like a holistic look. It's not like I want to get shredded, brah.
So I started this thing called. I mean, for me too. Like I was very unrealistic with my time. You know
sure.
what I mean? And I think that was my biggest pitfall. So when I started doing this thing called Funny Fat Fit, they executed it way better than I could. And I would talk to these kids like, how'd you do it? You know, they're like, first of all, I started with your videos and motivation. And I saw the time, I was like, oh, they have a lot more time than I do. You know what I mean? I was like, well, I just go to school. So, I can make that space. And I'm like trying to work in my schedule. I'm like, okay, well, I started my day at like 10 or 9, but then I ended at 2.
Yeah.
That don't work.
And then I'm like, oh shit, I have to let go of that sleep. And then what will happen is, what I actually found out was happening a lot was that because I was so exhausted, I would start working out, but then I would hurt myself because I was so exhausted, and then I would get fevers. Like my body would break down.
It's inflammation in the body. Like if you have so much stress, like we could understand this. Like entrepreneurs, you work like, let's say 10, 12, 14, 16-hour days. If you train, it's a stress on top of that, and if you don't manage that, it actually equals global inflammation in your body.
Besides steroids, the only way to rest is, or the only way to recover is sleep. Yeah.
Oh, that's what you want. Yeah.
Oh, that's what this.
Oh, that's
so we get it.
Oh, you thought you were going to say hi to us.
No. But
you didn't get the world's worst podcast goodie bag on the way out.
And so like with the whole fitness thing too, like, and I started to realize too with the roles that I was getting, like it was based on my weight, and so I kept on going back to things like I can't lose this weight because I need to get this role.
Yeah.
And so it
you and I talked about that last year. Like you put on a bunch of weight for a part.
For like Gook and then doing like these Kim Jong Un and Kim Jong Il roles. And so I was like, well, until I get these things out the way, then I'll lose the weight. But those excuses always come back.
How much do you think that plays a role in some of these like role playing, whatever comedians, whatever term is, like a Jonah Hill or like a fucking?
It does a lot, and I think like you kind of get like cornered and scared a little bit because it becomes a bit of your identity.
100%.
So even some people too, like when a lot of the kids. So there's actually this kid who was on Funny Fat Fit. I remember him. He tweeted me recently. That kid lost like damn near like 180 pounds.
That's amazing.
He got featured in GQ.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
so
sick.
I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, damn, you're really successful.
Yeah.
This shit. And he's like giving me motivation. I was like, continue with David. And I'm like, I would, but
the thing is,
the thing about that
it happens to us. We'll give like deadlift advice. I say this, I joke. I say 50% of the subscribers I meet are stronger than me. They're like, I look up to you. I'm like, dude, you're deadlifting 700 pounds. Like, you're way stronger than me. And I'm just like, oh shit. I'm like, and the same thing. Like, how did you do it?
Yeah, it's interesting because like a Funny Fat Fit was not only for me, but it was more for other kids because they were identifying with their unhealthy habits with me. They're like, well, if he's unhealthy, I can be unhealthy too. But that wasn't the point. It's just like I just happened to be a fat guy my whole life, and I just have my issue is my self-esteem is so high.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't see my flaws.
Yeah,
I'm like, damn it.
I have no flaws.
Yeah, I wake up, I'm like, damn, my body looks tight.
Let me sing while I make these eggs.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so like a lot, but for them it was different. They suffer with a lot of self-esteem issues based on the way they looked and how they felt. So Funny Fat Fit was a way for me to like kind of get these kids to, kick into gear. I'll tell you this one quick story. So when I went to Colorado, there's this kid that came up to me, eyes down, just really large kid, and he was just wouldn't make eye contact. He was like shaking, right? And I looked at him, I was like, yo, what's up, man? Just being really nice to him and trying to get him to relax. And he goes, hey, like I just want to say I'm a really huge fan of yours. He goes, like, this is like the first time they've been out in a long time. I was like, for a long time, how long? I was like, it's been like a year. I was like, you mean out of your bedroom? It was like something along those lines, right? And it was so serious. He was in the theater when that Colorado shooting happened.
Oh, Batman?
Yeah, and he said like my videos helped him to relax.
That's so
That's serious, man.
That shit made me feel good. And he was like, well, I gained a lot of weight because I wasn't moving. And so he said he was gonna try Funny Fat Fit. And he was like, I've been trying it out. It's been helping me out a lot. I'm like, cool. And this kid was just looking down, shaking.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So I actually got booked for that same college show next year. The kid comes up to me, whatever, like very fit or whatnot. He goes, hey, you remember me? I'm like, no, who are you? Because I was at that kid last year. Remember?
That's real impact, man.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, you guys are fucking changing your lives. What are you doing? It's pretty amazing, like just kind of what that impact does. And people are like, well, you could do it. I was like, yeah, I can do it. I'm just trying to figure out a time to do it. So that's why like I'm learning this year too to really kind of like prioritize things a little bit better. Yeah. Like my health isn't going to get any better.
Yeah, we're getting old, bro.
Yeah, and then I got the 2 car accidents and my fucking
spine just back.
exploded.
You were
saying that happened twice. And like looking at God, I'm like, do you want me to be fat forever?
He's telling you, dude, the roll's coming.
The roll's are coming. Just stay put, man.
I
was going to say for you, talking a little bit about that maybe subversive element, I want to shout out your Instagram because it actually directly inspired me to take a photo. I think comedy, that's a beauty of comedy where you talk, like Gook is a serious work, but the idea maybe in some comedy pointing out universal truths are harder to say just up front. Yeah. And so you did a photo series that was amazing where basically you're poking fun out of like Instagram models, like fit models and all those sorts of things. Yeah. Like that element.
You went a little extreme. I got turned on, but besides
that, the heart wants what it wants.
90% naked. I'm surprised you didn't get flagged on some of that.
But I've been mad.
But how do you think of those things? Because like I see that what's so good about it is that it's comedy and it's also making a statement. You know what I mean? But not being heavy-handed.
Yeah, it's just like some.
That's the way to do it.
It's not that I hate watch. It's comedic to me. You know. But I'm also making not only am I making fun of Instagram models. Yeah. I'm also making fun of the guys that comment on their shit.
100%.
You know what I mean?
The thirsty guys.
These
the
girls
white knights.
write these like very fake, like superfluous, like these captions.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's all about an ass shot selling a supplement.
Exactly, it has nothing.
But it's motivational on how hard they're working and grinding.
And then you read these guy comments where they're like, "Oh my god, you're so altruistic,
you're so smart,"
and I'm like, "You're a loser, and you're also."
Oh yeah, you're both losers.
Yeah,
you actually would work out well together.
Yeah. My favorite are the Bible quote. There's this one girl, like I can't think of the name, and I don't want to roast anyone in particular, but like. She posted so it was promoting a supplement. The supplement was way in the background. Her ass was literally 75% of the screen. She was getting a lot of likes.
A Bible verse?
It was like a psalm. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what goes on in your mind?
Weird,
like the cognitive dissonance of what you're doing. It's amazing.
I used to get so mad because like they specifically write these thirst trap type of like comments, right? But it just irritates me because like it'll be like the hottest chick, and she goes, "I wish there would be a guy that just wants to cuddle me right now." I'm like, you.
Yeah, it's her tits out. I was like, I wish guys didn't care about my body and only wanted my mind. Like, bitch, put those tits away, and maybe we'll get to know you.
And also too, like when you're working really hard and you're grinding out, and then they write that one thing where it's just like, it's been such a hard day, and I'm like, I want to know what your hard day is.
I was taking a photo. I had to take 75 of it, and then it just wasn't the right angle.
The worst
thing how was your hard day?
Yeah, and then I see on their Instagram story, obviously because I'm a perv too, and I still follow them.
Hey, look,
and and I'm like, and they woke up at 12, and I'm like, oh fuck, how hard was your day?
Yeah.
Worst thing is that guys are just as bad right now on Instagram, too.
Oh,
or worse.
Oh yeah. No, I often say, so I made that joke, and it's the truth. Like, it's not hating on women. Where I made a post saying like, if a girl posts like a good like selfie photo, it took like 10 shots. If a girl posts a good butt photo, it probably took 20 shots. If a guy posts a jacked photo of him posing under the right light, it was over 100 photos.
And a trip to the hardware store to get a better bulb.
Oh my god,
lighting bulb and all that shit.
It's so weird. Yeah, people don't even realize that.
It's just weird, man. Like I'm just observing like social media and what people do with it.
Yeah.
And it's actually more of a reflection not on that person that's posting, on the people that follow them
100%.
and the people that believe it.
Yeah, 100% buy their shit.
100%. You know, and they fall for it, and I'm like, how dumb are you?
No.
But at the same time, I'm still following.
Yeah, but at least you didn't buy their shit.
Yeah, at least we could recognize it. I think part of the hope, and maybe when we're so critical on our spectrum on the fitness industry, is because we hoped coming into the industry, we saw all the previous mistakes, the misleading magazine titles, like the bad exercise advice that like
shitty DVDs.
So the hope maybe of us, like if we're like trying to be altruistic here, is like to make a little, like move the ball forward, make it a little bit better. You know, like not repeat the same mistakes. And so it's discouraging and it's disappointing to see some of our peers, and also sometimes we fall in that trap, making the same mistakes. Like we could be better. You know what I mean? Like you said that statement about like we see vlogs now. Like you used to see vlogs back in the day. They had like some cuts, and now they're like a million cuts in like 3 minutes. We kind of started some of those things, so we are responsible, and we're kind of like trying to reel it back a little bit. So it's not like hating so much as like we're
like the guys that brought that fucking catfish from Thailand and released it to the river. Like,
what's
that gonna do?
And then it just takes over the entire ecosystem. We're like, ooh,
like, yikes.
That's not what we're expecting.
What's leading next, David? So you had this movie. It's out of theaters now. Yeah, it was kind of the summertime.
Yeah, I think December 2nd, it's gonna come out on Blu-ray.
Okay, dope.
Very cool,
and then
man.
iTunes, and so everybody can cop it there. And if you're somebody who that film, by the way, is not about the Rodney King riots. It's just about the people that experienced what was happening during that time.
The film Gook.
The Rodney King riots was a backdrop. So it's not a documentary.
Right.
If you want to watch information and facts, then you watch a documentary.
Yeah,
You're going to see.
It set the tone of like the age, because like you even said how people now or cultures or whatever don't even know the racism now, but like we don't know the racism 100 years ago, and they don't know the racism.
It gives context maybe to some of the riots
that were happening during the time.
Yeah, but also today, like giving like some sort of context.
Yeah, it's a huge reflection of what's happening today too, and kind of like how either we've digressed or we haven't grown at all.
Yeah, the parallels.
Yeah, and so you'll see that in that film too, and it's going to be about the people, and I think that's like the important part. So don't look at it for like fact checking and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's just to see like how two communities, they were kind of going through the same shit, but they couldn't see. They almost got together. Yeah.
It almost happened, bro.
Yeah,
it was almost cool.
It's like this whole thing like where I always say too, it's like when you're kind of experiencing your own pain, you don't care
about
to empathize with somebody else.
Yeah,
so
see someone else's
all you
perspective.
see is hate, and then it just causes two people who are actually going through the same shit to hate each other because they don't see the similarities. Yeah. So like when I was younger too, I'll just kind of end it with this. It was just I was. So my parents own a black beauty supply store. They still do it to this day.
A what?
A black beauty supply store.
Oh.
Yeah, so we sell weaves, whatever, all that shit, right? So that was my thing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Sick of singing, bro.
I believe. Right, so I was
David
like,
just stands up and walks out.
So I had this weird experience where I kind of like grew up around a predominantly like black neighborhood,
right?
And my best friend's black as well, and I kind of related to both cultures, and I couldn't really understand what was going on. And then not until I got older, my friend Ricky kind of mentioned it. It was kind of weird because we see a bunch of like you Korean dudes opening up businesses in our neighborhoods, and we see you selling us stuff and profiting. But meanwhile, we can't even catch a break and get a business fucking loan.
Sure.
So all we see is hate, but we're actually mad at the wrong people. We're mad at you for coming. But for us, it's like, we don't even see, like, we got the business loan. for whatever America gave us, and we thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
And all we're trying to do is put food on our table and then help our kids
and not take food away from you, which is kind of maybe what they felt.
Exactly. And so like all these like racist like undertones or stuff that we didn't have coming into this country. That's what this country threw at us. Yeah. You know, and told us this is truth. Yeah. So my parents, you know, for whatever reason, didn't buy that racist bullshit, and then, you know, they just love everybody. It's probably because he's a pastor as well. Yeah. You know, so I never grew up with that, so I never understood why people, you know, not everybody, but like that 20% or 50% of the customers hated us so much. Sure. You know, majority of them were really nice, but there was that little thing that was there, and it was because they just didn't understand each other, you know, and so it kind of sucks.
It sounds like your life was Gook.
Yeah, it was Gook. It was Gook. So my character is who I was growing up as a kid. So that's the reflection that you're going to see in that film. Yeah.
What does like an actor or someone in your position go from there? So like YouTube crushed it, you got over it. Now you go into a real movie and you're into it.
You want to get into more acting?
Yeah. And how does that process go? Not only what do you want, do people come to you now? Do you still got to go to auditions? How's that shit work?
I mean, now it's like, so I got signed to an agency. Like all these things are going on. I'm starting to act next year.
So you're a movie star on our podcast.
We'll still be here 1 year later.
100% though. I don't even know if I like acting.
Yeah.
I created.
Oh no, I bet, dude,
you're over it already.
No, you're gonna land a role that's gonna be like critically acclaimed, and then you're just gonna peace out. I'm calling this right now.
Well, I already feel like that now. So it's like I made Gook, and it was from with my friend Justin. And, you know, I got to help him with it, and it was from our hearts, and it got into fucking Sundance for crying out loud. I didn't expect it to get into Sundance. So when I found out I got into Sundance, I started bawling. I was like tearing up, bawling. I was like, what in the world is going on? So because that goal of getting into Sundance, which was a lifetime goal of mine, happened a little faster than expected, now I'm a little lost.
Well, in the next movie, now, you know, I don't know that much about that world by any means, but I've gone through 10% of the process. Now you got an agent. Now you're going to go to auditions, and now you don't have a word at who you are or what you say. Exactly. You're Kim Jong-il in every next movie. Like, you're fucked now. Like, your heart doesn't matter.
You know, I've been auditioning now for the past 4 or 5 months, right? And I've gotten really close to a lot of things. And you know, I'm not really, even if I get a rejection at audition, I really don't give a fuck. You know, so now it's just like, I'm kind of looking at this, and I'm like, do I even like this? Yeah. Like, I think I did it, once again, it was always for me first. Yeah. So now I'm going to these auditions where I like the art and the craft of it. I don't like the bullshit that comes along with it.
Well, now you're in like Hollywood. It's different than YouTube, and it's different than making a movie with your buddy.
Now I'm thinking like, oh, do I just like acting itself, or do I just like creating? Yeah. But my thing is like, you can't knock it till you try it. So I'm going to try it first to the best of
all the way in.
Yeah. What are most of the auditions? Like TV shows, movies, commercials?
It's TV shows. Yeah. Cool. Commercials. I do have a commercial agent, but they keep sending me shit like a few hours before I tell them I can't do that. I got a million things going on. Yeah. So, but it's going to be TV shows and movies. Yeah.
What about things? So you talk about doing a lot of different endeavors. What are some things maybe in the future that you find exciting or you want to hop in? So like acting's kind of like maybe let's say last 2 years you did Gook and like you're trying to maybe move forward with that. You did some comedy, singing. Is there anything else? You have that cooking on your YouTube? Yeah. Like what are some other passions that you think?
Oh, food is definitely.
Food is
like, you know, because I have a soft serve place called Drips and Swirls out in Cape Town.
It's amazing.
But you know,
it is amazing.
So
one coming to Sacramento in the next 3 years.
Bro, you should have a Vice show. That would be cool. That would. Where you go around it. I think you could be a great host because I love all those. You ever watch Dead Set on Life?
Yeah.
Matty Matheson, super cool guy, Toronto. And then there's what is it, Huang's World? Yeah. Where he has like just like a show like that. And then Action Bronson had a show for a while. Oh, yeah, I think you could totally do that, dude.
Yeah, I just like food, and I kind of want one of my food places to franchise out and go really big. Very cool. Yeah. That's not even a money thing. It's just
you want impact. Yeah, impact thing.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love how you have so many different goals.
Yeah, so it's just that life goal. So like I've kind of been able to tick off a lot of things. Also, the other thing is to fucking get back to my original weight. You know, that would be like the best thing possible. Yeah.
We got you, David.
Yeah, they got me on that. So it's like those goals I kind of want to knock out. At the end of the day, man, like it's so corny, but I just want to be happy at whatever I do. So
are you there?
I'm getting there.
You pretty happy?
I just want to retire. So I want to retire and be able to do what I want to do without money being something that's looming over my shoulder. So it's
which is the main thing that determines what you do. So just remove that from the equation.
So when you remove that so people say like, well, if you become a millionaire, you'd be bored. No, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd be able to do half the things I want to do before I'm
totally
dead.
Get you on that. I totally get you on that.
I would paint. I would be a ballerina. Yeah. I would be a UFC fighter. I would do anything like
you could explore.
Exactly. If money was no option, how would you live your life? And it's just
you'd be a lot more free.
That is a little bit lucky that our generation got too, where my goal is the same, but like how can I do what I love and make money off of it, and that
and then remove the money equation even further.
Yeah,
Well, you don't have to think about.
Well, like you just said, like you want to franchise your ice cream spot, not to be a billionaire, but because then you'll have enough money to live, and you want to franchise your ice cream spot. Yeah. Like that's the same reason we want to start this podcast. Me and Omar just literally 3 days ago decided,
world's worst podcast.
But same thing. Like I like creating content. I like having conversation with cool people. If there's a way for me to market or monetize a way for me to kick it with cool people and have a conversation,
why not?
Fuck you, I'm gonna do that. Like fucking America. Like America's dope and it allows me to do this. So yeah.
100%.
Well, David, I would say thank you so much, my man, for being on. Where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, David So Comedy, Twitter, on the Instagram. If you go to the Instagram,
you've been slacking on Twitter, bro. I used to follow you. I mean, I still follow you. I didn't unfollow you, bro. Don't get hurt. But you used to like go ham on there and it cracked me up.
It's hard to like keep up with everything, man. Like
drama.
Twitter's the best though I feel like for comedians.
Yeah, like I feel like I want to like be on Twitter more often, but man, sometimes it's just difficult.
How many shits you take a day?
Huh?
How many?
He's gonna say bring that damn.
I just bring the phone right in
bro,
and just start tweeting.
You don't bring your phone in there?
No, sometimes I
germs, bro. I know that sounds. I was like, you're taking a shit, wiping your ass, and then you're also on the phone. What's going on here?
It's like $20. It's a fucking.
That's why you always have pink eye, bro.
No, $20. They sanitize your fucking phone, bro.
$20.
It's like a laser thing.
Oh, really?
Come on. It's 2017.
So how often
so
do you do that? It's 2017. That's part of the Instagram starter pack, the sanitation.
Yeah. It's literally like $20. So just scan your phone like, clean. And then a little bit of butthole on your phone.
Yeah.
There's worse things. There's butthole.
That's the quote from you right there.
A little bit of butthole on your phone. There's a butthole in your mouth. You're all right.
That's a T-shirt, dude. That's just a little butthole.
Mike, close us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. Give us a review. Share with your friends. Comment. I don't even know what they comment. They get like a review or some shit. Give us the.
I don't know how
review.
any of this. You're the one that has experience being a podcast host. Bro, you're supposed to anchor
this
at
podcast. Leave a review. Give us a fucking.
Only a good review though.
Yeah, give us those stars. No, we'll take shit. Fuck you. We'll take a shit one. We'll take a critique.
We'll take your shit.
And then we'll send David at you. David's gonna be in the comments on our YouTube and fucking smash you out.
Yeah, this is the come up, David. We'll see you a year from now.
No, bro.
6 months?
Yeah, we'll have you in 3 or 6 months. You down?
Our goal is to be
He's down.
top 10 fitness podcasts within a few months. I know we can make it happen.
No, we're in it, and David's in it. Well, especially once he lands his first Kim Jong-il role on a movie.
I almost want to get fatter and talk more about fitness.
That could be your gig.
There's actually, you know what's funny? Not to throw shade, but last thing I'll say, there are some people on like Instagram where that's kind of happening.
Oh my god!
The worse shape they get in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
the
gonna more
future.
shape and just talk more shit.
Dude.
Appreciate you all. We'll catch you in the next one.